welcome to Recordholics Academy. My name is Gary, and if you're serious about making music and making it work, this is the place for you. In today's video, we are going to talk about why most independent artists fail and how to avoid it. So, for me, I could go on and on about this probably for a really long time, but I have seen a lot over the years, let's just say. The biggest thing I want to talk about for this first, why do independent artists fail? I think one of the main things that contribute to failure as an independent artist is your perception of what success is. Because I've seen a lot of people who are doing really well in building and growing, and they're just so disappointed in what they're doing that they end up quitting, because it's like they expected to blow up. I'm going to be a big star and blow up. And I think, honestly, that, yeah, okay, maybe in some form, wanting to be a big star can be a motivator to some degree, and some small percentage of people will be able to get to that because obviously we see some of them out there. The reality is that as an independent artist, the best thing you can do for yourself is be realistic to a certain extent about the incremental growth that will happen for you. Because if you're too focused on like blowing up or, getting signed or, this big break, the big break is never going to come if you're looking for the big break. I mean, that's almost 110% fact. Because if you're constantly chasing the big break, you're not doing what you should be doing to build your career properly. Not a single person has ever blown up overnight, ever. Maybe you think they did. Maybe it looks like they did, but that is not what happened. They put in constant grinding efforts, constantly pushing forward, building. And then a break comes. If you're just looking for the break, I just gotta, just desperately scrambling for the break, it will never happen. And I encourage you to quit now, because that is the worst approach. Maybe 1%, maybe 0.1% of people will get the big break then. And even some who do will probably blow the big break because they're not well prepared to have a break. They're so focused on finding the break that they're not developed as a person, as an artist, as an entrepreneur, that they're not ready for any kind of explosion in growth and having any kind of big break to work with big producers or get signed or anything like that. Like, none of that will help you. So you need to stop thinking about blowing up. Stop thinking about that huge, I'm going to be a big star, and focus in on being a better artist, being a better creator, being better at your craft constantly, always getting better. There should never be a day that you're not improving a little bit in your skills and, writing, playing, singing, making beats, whatever it is. So don't look for the big break. Look for building a foundation. When you build a foundation, any break that comes will absolutely do you really well. So make sure you're not looking at success in some weird way where it has to be this huge, massive thing, right? Success, in my opinion, success begins when you are able to create some kind of life off of the music that you create. That's success. And the more people that can do that, the better. Because if we continue to focus on these big, huge, mammoth artists and labels and things, we're only making it worse for everybody else. The independent music world is only going to take hits if we all are trying to, go to this, that can happen on its own if people are building their foundations. And, because another point that artists fail as a result of is not treating their career as a long-term investment. I've seen a lot of people do this, and they put these arbitrary, artificial deadlines on when they should be successful. Well, if I'm not famous by 30, I'm just going to stop and get a job. If that's the case, then you should stop and get a job now, because you'll be much better off financially at 30 than if you keep doing this. So I want to encourage you to stop if you're going to have that kind of attitude. Oh, well, if I'm not famous by 30 or 25 or whatever it is, whatever the number is, because I can tell you now that no matter what age you are, first of all, you can have success no matter what age you are. That is absolutely true. Whether you're young, a little older, a lot older, it does not matter. But whatever age you are, when you start to go all in, it will take time. So, sorry, my the camera overheated and I had to turn it off and let it chill because I was using it a lot to set this whole thing up. Anyway, so no matter what age you are, no matter what the situation is, if you're trying to build something with your music, it's going to take time. It's going to take quite a bit of time and energy and work. So I think it's important that you understand that. Long-term, meaning, if you're someone passionate about music, music is your life, you feel like you have to make music, it's part of who you are, it will be a lifelong thing. So long-term means your entire life. So you should keep your mind wrapped around that a little bit, that this is my whole life. So I have literally my whole life to build this. If you can see it that way, you will never fail, because when you give up is when you fail. When you stop, that's when you fail. Now, I'm not saying that if you were to stop and kind of say, like, I can't do this right now, I need a break, or I need to reevaluate or whatever, like, I understand that. I have been there. Okay? But when you quit and you just don't go back, that's when you fail. If you haven't quit yet, you have not failed. Maybe certain things you didn't work out like you thought they would. Music you put out didn't reach the people you thought it would. Things didn't just go how you thought they would go. But that doesn't mean you failed. That just means you haven't succeeded yet. So if you are continuing to work, to build, to put in your energy towards this thing, you haven't failed yet. So keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. If you give up, you fail, period. So another thing that contributes to artists failing is chasing a deal. I gotta tell you, don't ever try to get a record deal. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. If you are out there saying, my goal is to get a record deal, you're out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. Because most likely, I want to say 95% chance that you won't get a record deal or even remotely a worthwhile one. But the problem with trying to get a record deal is that you are doing everything wrong. Well, I just got to do what I have to do to get signed. And once I get signed, then, that's when things will blow up and they'll do this for me and they'll do that for me. Like, well, I have to tell you, no matter what time period you're talking about, pretty much, the labels, they don't care about you even one tiny, tiny little bit, not even a little tiny little speck. They don't care about you or your music. They care about money. So they want to make sure that they make money. So any deal that you get is not going to benefit you. It's going to benefit them. The more you've built a foundation and a career first, the more likely that deal is going to be good, that you do get. But when you chase a deal, when you try and get a record deal, you're literally telling these people, I'm so desperate, I am such a desperate loser that I will do anything to get this record deal. Please sign me, please. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. So we can literally mop the floor with you and you'll do whatever we say. So there's that element, but then there's also the element of like, you start making decisions based on what you think will impress someone at a record label. And like, that's so insane because I got to tell you, those people at those record labels think it's sad and pathetic. You're making songs that are copying other artists. I think I need to make a song that sounds like this because the label will, they want this now. They're looking for these songs now. They're looking for this style now. I got to change my image so I look like this one because they just signed this one and that's what they want now. So I want this. And you're never being authentic. You're never being yourself. You're never actually finding the thing that makes you great and unique because everyone has a thing that makes them great and unique. And you're not finding that when you're chasing a record deal. So stop. If you even think in your head, oh, I really would be nice to get a record deal, stop. Just stop, okay? Because you're going to ruin your entire career. And it's going to basically make you jaded and make you quit. And then, like we said before, fail. So don't do it. Stop. Forget about record labels. Just forget about them. Pretend they don't exist, okay? Not to mention the fact that now as things are changing, labels are getting more and more and more awful, okay? More and more consolidated, more and more like taking everything over and buying everything, and more abusing the artists, more and more taking money from them. I mean, more and more crappier deals. The splits on some of these new deals are absolutely insane. Just stop with the labels. You don't need a record label. Future video, all about record labels, okay? So just stop chasing big breaks. Stop chasing record deals. Stop doing anything that makes you trying to be anybody but yourself. You can't build anything worthwhile if you're not being authentic to yourself and what's inherently unique and special about you. The more you try to do anything outside of that, the more people are not going to really, they won't understand why something's not right. But they just won't want to really follow you. They won't really want to be like excited about what you're doing. But the more authentic you are, the more like yourself, and the more you let the real you shine, the better, because that's how people connect with you. People want authenticity, and more every single day that goes by now, this year, in 2025 and beyond, every single day that goes by, and for a while now, this is not new, but it's just more and more all the time. People want authenticity. They want you to be you. They don't want you to try and be like whatever, just plug in the name of a famous star. Okay? They want you to be you, because that's what they're going to find that they like. As soon as they see you, oh, that's kind of like this guy, or that's kind of like this girl, or whatever, they're like, oh, well, I could just watch that guy, you know? I could just listen to this guy. But there's no one in the universe like you. So be you, and that's what's going to be special about you. So that's another thing that people are failing by, is that they're being non-authentic. They're trying to be something that they're not. We could go into a future video about that as well. So if you want to avoid failing, the number one thing is to just don't quit. It's not over until you quit. So if you want to avoid failure as an independent musician, artist, band, producer, singer, anything, engineer, anything. If you want to avoid failure, don't ever quit. If you need a break, fine. Do not ever quit. Don't say, I'm done with this, because once you do, you're done. You'll never succeed. You're not done until you say you're done. Until you give up. Yeah, you give up. Don't give up. Just don't. There's always another approach. Maybe you're not seeing it. Maybe you're not understanding what it could be. But there's always another way. There's something's going to happen if you're open to it. That's going to show you that there's another way, another approach, something you can do to help yourself continue fighting and working towards your goals and towards your success. There's constantly changing landscapes of, promotions and gigging and all sorts of things. Everything's changing all the time, but that's fine. You can always adapt as it's changing, and that can only lead to you eventually finding a path for you that's going to work really well. Something else I would say that artists fail from is that they don't see things through. You come up with a plan. I'm going to do this thing, and that's going to be the thing I put all my energy into. Let's say it's, posting X times per week or whatever. I'm going to start, releasing X things per month, or whatever the thing is that you plan on doing. You do it for a few weeks or a month, and it doesn't do what you thought it did, or it's too much for you or whatever, but you didn't see it through. So you didn't see that it could actually do something for you or not. You didn't give it more than a week or 2 weeks or whatever. When you decide to do something, you need to just keep going. Like, hey, like me, I want to do these videos once a day. Somehow, some way, post a video once a day. If I don't continue to do that, nothing's going to happen. No one's going to see my videos. But if I continue to post them every day and find a way to make it really easy for me to post them, minimal edits, stuff like that, then that's then it's going to work eventually. Or at least I can have enough time. I mean, you need to put in a few months at least of something consistent for you to start seeing results from it. You can't just a couple of days, couple of weeks, you know. It's just not, you're not going to see the results when you, okay, I'm going to do X amount of scales per day on my guitar. Like, if you stop doing that, you're not going to improve your technique or your hand strength, or, you know, you're not going to improve as a player if you don't stick to that. And it's the same thing with the whole entirety of everything about your music career, is if you don't stick to the things you decide to do, you won't find out if they actually work. So stick to it. I think right now, this could be considered part one. I might come up with other ideas as I finish through this video, post it up and get feedback from everybody. But honestly, I think we hit a lot of good points, and it's a good start. I don't want to overdo it on the first day, because I want to be able to, like I was saying before, I want to be able to be consistent. So I have to find ways to make things easier for myself. Always find a way to make something easier for you to do so that you can do them consistently and not miss a day or miss a week, or, you know, like not screw it up, you know, because listen, consistency is key with everything. And if you're not consistently keeping up with work you're doing, you fall behind, and then eventually you just lose track of it and it doesn't happen. So for me, I want to make this as easy as possible. And you know, I think this is going to work well. And I'm really excited to start meeting you guys, learning about what you guys are doing, so I can find ways that I can help you all. Because when I hear stories and when I see things and I can analyze situations, I can think more based on my knowledge and understanding of things that I've done and experienced. I can find ways to give my thoughts and help you. All right, so that's going to be it for today. Thanks for checking out the video. Again, my name is Gary, and I'm here to remind you to keep creating and keep pushing. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.